Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Trackman 44 here. Hey, being in heating and air conditioning for 50-some years, or close to 50 years, you come across some really cool things that you have to tear out and sometimes throw away, and other times you decide maybe you probably ought to keep that stuff. Well, you know what? You have to think outside the box sometimes when you bring things home. And if you know, this is the time of year that we get ready to fire up for butchering. We're going to do beef here just in a couple of weeks or so. And out here in the shed, I don't have any running water or anything like that. Don't have a hot water heater. So we have to provide our own hot water for cleaning up, and all that kind of stuff. So I normally have a little setup outside with a little kettle in it, about a 30-inch diameter kettle, and somewhere around there, 24-inch, maybe 30-inch, I don't know. And just keep a fire stoked around it, and got a sheet of tin that rolls around and everything, but you're always getting that smoke in your face. And I'm always looking for a different way of doing things. So, take a look at what we have here in the front. Yep, you guessed it. This is actually a bona fide heatilator fireplace insert. Now this is actually fabricated by a person. He's probably a welder or something, because it's got a heck of a design on it. Now I thought about trying to keep it for somebody that might want to use it, but it's so specific for a physical size for where it fits inside the chimney or inside the actual fireplace hearth and everything itself. I figured there's just about no way anybody's going to be able to use this thing. So I've been planning on using this thing here to boil my water on the kettle. So you probably want to know, how in the heck am I planning on doing that? Well, let me tell you something. Looking inside the firebox, what I plan on doing is I'm going to go ahead and lay 2-inch fire brick all the way down on the bottom of this thing right here. That way we don't have to worry about transferring heat out the bottom. Just keep everything off of this wooden dolly that I've got setting on. So this is going to have an entire fire brick lining the bottom, and I'm probably going to line the sides and the back with either refractory cement or more 2-inch fire brick all the way around the perimeter of it. Now, all that's going to do is just keep the intense heat from the fire from warping everything. It's not going to do anything as far as heat retention. I don't care about that at all, because this firebox is going to be exposed through the bottom of my kettle. So I'm going to show you how we're going to do that too. Now, as you can tell, this thing here is fabricated as with a box inside a box. The bottom is solid. So the way this is designed is, you see this air space right in between here? Okay, this is the outer shell, of course, and this acts as the plenum, and this is the actual outer box of the fire chamber. The fire chamber, of course, has the separation all the way around the perimeter except for the front. So the heatilator would actually blow with blowers down in the very front all the way around this, and it would go ahead and blow that right out into the space. So, but I'm not really concerned about that at all. This little deflector plate here, you can slide that forward or backwards, whatever you want to do. But what that does, that's a deflector that makes the smoke and the heat come around and then come up top before it goes out the chimney. Now, if you see, I kind of had to booger this up a little bit, but that's okay, because I'm going to adjust this and put a 6-inch flue instead of an 8-inch flue. But right here is where the kettle is going to set. I'm going to drop the kettle right down inside there, and it's going to set right here. The elevation is going to be about this high right here. I'll be able to dip hot water right out of it into a bucket, just as easy as can be. The worst thing I'd have to do is where I'm standing, I might have to build some brick steps just to stand up on it. But it's by far better than the way that we've done it before. Now, of course, you're going to start out with the kettle empty. Set it right in there, nice and level, whatever. It's going to leak a little smoke around the perimeter, but that's okay, because that heat's going to actually go up and help heat the sides of it. Not a big deal. This is going to have a plate on top, 6-inch flue coming out of here. We'll keep most of the smoke up and away from our face and everything while we're working on the fire, keeping the fire going. You can obviously see the cart underneath it. It's got nice large wheels that'll make it easy to roll around. It's got a nice handle up in front to pull it, and this will be the area you fire it from right here, and you can see the kettle sitting right on top. Now, what my plan is, because I have several of these carts, this cart is going to be dedicated to just leaving this heating appliance right physically attached to it. I'm going to strap it to the oak. It's going to stay here intact all the time. I'll be able to use it, cover up the kettle when we're done, and pull it back around, put it under the lean-to, and it'll sit there until next time we need to use it. So that's what my plan is. So now what we have to do is implement it, and that's what we're in the process of doing right now. Hang around a little bit, we'll show you a few improvements or a few things that we do to it along the way, and then we'll have the finished product at the end. So a few minutes to take an 8-inch plug out of this, set it on here to match up the hole, About time to weld that thing in, then we'll come up with something to make us a flue pipe out of. Now remember, I'm not a welder and I don't play one on TV, so don't give me the devil about my weld. Okay, so there's the 8-inch plug welded on top of there. Went ahead and cut a hole in the middle of this guy here for a piece of steel casing. Went down the woods and grabbed a piece of Schedule 40 black iron pipe, steel casing. It's got a Victolic groove on one end, and I'll be putting a damper or something inside this pipe or on top of this pipe. That'll weld right on top of this right here. I took that part, cut out of this right here, set it on top, just made a little damper. Throw a bucket over the top of it, probably cut this off a little bit. Throw a bucket over top, keep the rain out when it's just sitting outside. But yeah. Gonna go ahead and set this back up on top, square it up, plumb it up, and tack it in place. It's tilting forward a little. I tack it here so I can tilt it right back and go ahead and weld it. I can also adjust this direction here at the same time. Well guys, we're down to just about nothing left to do except line it with fire bricks. Here's my little clip, I just loosen the handle. Move it wherever we want to go. There'll definitely be smoke and heat escaping up around this guy right here, but all that's going to be up above us. Normally this is down knee level on the ground, and you just, whenever you're working with this, you just got your face completely filled with smoke. So this is going to be absolutely great. So there will be a little bit of smoke up here, but the vast majority is going to be going up our flue pipe. And it's a substantial flue pipe too, should last us many, many years. So now we're going to go about the business of measuring the inside and seeing what we got for fire brick. Yeah, you got to admit, it looks pretty cool. Even if it might be impractical to some of you guys, it definitely is practical to me. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and see what we got for fire brick inside here. So there we go, guys. Not a perfect job of fire brick lining, but not bad for just scraps off of a bunch of boilers and things I've torn out over the years. All the way back in the dead center, you see a 4-inch by roughly 4-inch opening. That's the combustion air that actually enters into this firebox from the rear of the appliance. And then I've got roughly 14-inch by 36-inch actual space to heat, and that's going to be just absolutely fine. Didn't even put a dent in my pile of fire brick, as a matter of fact. So there you go, guys. Over the course of one good work day, I worked a little bit yesterday afternoon, then pretty much about the midday today, and pretty much got it taken care of. Just took something that was absolutely useless for me. Couldn't find anybody that wanted it. A lot of people probably could have used it, but it was in my way anyway, and I almost loaded it up for the junkyard here not too long ago, and I thought, well, I'll save these real nice cast iron doors off of it. Maybe I'll make something out of it. But I didn't. I just pushed it off the side, you know, and just let it sit over there on a different cart. And then this idea here came up, you know, because it's very near butchering time, and which is actually within just the next couple of weeks or so, maybe 3 weeks, I guess, maybe. So, yes, I think it's going to work out just fine. Might be a little awkward, you know, but I'll just go ahead and put concrete blocks down here on the ground. That'll give me 8 inches higher. Reach in here and dip out it into a 5-gallon bucket, and we got our hot water problem solved. And I ain't going to get smoke in my eyes anymore. Well, probably be a little bit, but it ain't going to be nothing like it was. Well, guys, hey, now that you see the project is just about completely done, we're just about ready for its test firing. I got to make one more addition and tell you something about it. You know, I've been talking all along about using this for heating water and everything, you know, for cleaning up around butchering, and that's definitely one of the main reasons why I went ahead and did this, and what we use the kettle for, simply because we don't have running water out here in the shed, don't have a way to heat the water, and don't want to run 200 feet of garden hose from the water heater, you know. So that's the primary function. But the secondary function is going to be whenever we cook down all the butchering scraps, you know, whether it's beef or pork, and make dog food out of it. Use this old kettle for that, and as well as like cooking head meat. If we ever decide to make schwadabaga or head cheese again, you know, that's what we'll use it for. And another main thing that we're going to be using this for will be for rendering lard. You know, we'll go ahead and cook down all the well, we usually cut it in little old 1-inch squares or whatever, you know, so it renders out pretty quick. And of course, we got a paddle where we have to stir and then keep it below a certain temperature so we don't overcook the lard, you know. But we'll go ahead and cook that lard down in this, and that way then we'll go ahead and run it through the sausage press and end up with a few slabs of cracklings out of it, and of course get us some nice lard, for cooking and everything. So, and then we'll also save the leaf lard whenever we do hogs. We'll save that for separate because that gives you the absolute best, clearest, most white lard for cooking, that there is. So, in doing so, this is the very last thing that I've made for it. This is going to come into play primarily when we're cooking water. It's going to keep that heat in here. And of course, like I said, there's going to be smoke coming up all the way around the perimeter of it and everything. So it'll become discolored and everything, and it'll get all hot and everything. But it's going to really help getting the temperature up quick by putting this lid on top. And we probably won't use that lid for rendering lard, but we'll definitely use it for cooking the scraps for dog food. So hey, you know what, guys? That is literally all there is to this one here. Until we get some butchering stuff here in the shop, that's all there is, guys. And this is Tractor Man 44. I'm out of here, guys.